It's time for my day 32 of 100 Days of Making Comics. Time to get that half an hour in. It's a challenge started by Kevin Cross of Monkey Mouth fame. And he has inspired us to follow his lead and work on our personal comic book projects. Mine is Phosphor, a little sci-fi adventure comic book. And I am now in the phase of rough inks where I'm trying to figure out the light source on every page and have a bit of fun experimenting with inks and making sure there's enough space on the page for the text balloons before moving on to the next phase, which is to write the text that goes in the balloons and, of course, making the art a little bit prettier. My name is Jan. Every day I post videos here on YouTube. I might post some on Instagram detailing the going-ons of my second round doing this challenge. In the first round I got up to 10 pages, but this round, having a little bit more experience and a lot more drive, I've already done 50 pages of thumbnails. I've done 25 pages of rough pencils, and this here is page 15. So I am very happy with how the challenge is progressing. I'm very happy indeed with how it's coming along. This is actually page 14, I just remembered, but I've just been working for the last hour on page 15, which is coming up. So here we are on day 32. I've just put in my first half hour working on this page from yesterday, page 13, I think. Finished up the bottom half. Quite pleased with how this is going. There's a couple of fixes I had to make besides adding the balloons and feeling that dread of covering up the art. Because there were some cool pipes here, man, and cabling. I got to fix the hair. The hair was actually, you can see it here. I just painted over it because it was a lot bigger. And it's just a little bit of, it's one of those things where I'm just like, oh wait, you know, get to work on the proportions a little bit. Same here with this guy, Goatse. His body here was just a little too rough. And I feel like he's still too small, or maybe the head is just too big and I just need to shrink that head a little bit. But I think the pose is getting there. And then over here, I was very fond of this one. But then I started adding the shadow. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Because, you know, in this phase, one of the worries is like, okay, set the light source and like work that out. And so it's the kind of stuff that in the past I would, like whenever I see artists like draw shadows draping across bodies, I'm in awe of that because it looks really good, but I never know how to draw it, or I don't know how to come up with it. And now, of course, because I'm deciding where the light is coming from, you know, in this room, so to speak, it just all kind of falls into place. Like here, there's a heavy light source outside, like the flashlight, floodlights, I should say. And so, of course, the rim of the cockpit viewport, if you will, is of course going to be lit like that. And so that didn't really make sense. Like before, I was just like adding a bit of shadow here and there. And then once I put that floodlight in, it was like, well, then obviously that is going to be lit up like this, you know? Saying like this is all going to be in shadow over here. So I can drop in a lot of inks. Kind of like being able to see his leg underneath the dashboard. Even though technically that could just be black, I suppose. I don't know. So yeah. Another page done. Let's get going. On to the next one.
You think about that character and doing a story where you are killing him and doing it on an actual.
So here we have, it's page 15, rough inks. So it's a bit of a silent page. I'm gonna have one text balloon for shouting his name or something. This should probably be some text here. She's attaching the safety line. He hasn't, clearly. This is the segue from the previous page. So we were inside the cockpit, so now we're outside. It moves sideways. We see the little figures over here coming down the steps. These are the characters that move out of the page, also on the last page. Like you see them walk by. So this is like their scene where we get to know them a little bit better, and like their relationship has to be established pretty quickly on the next page. That's kind of where I'm at. So that is 1.5 page done. This is another hour at least. I don't even know what time it is. I'm gonna have to check it out. But in the meantime, while I leave you to work on your own comic book projects, or maybe just go over to the V100's Facebook page if you want to check out the other comic books people are making. There's quite a variety of artists and people from all walks of life doing Kevin's challenge. This is a little render of one of the characters that is going to be in the background that I did while I was working. There's been plenty of attempts in the last couple of months of trying to work on style and like how am I going to draw the hair. And when I first started drawing them, I was completely over rendering it. And then I saw a drawing of Dale Keown this morning while I was looking at some sites, and the hair was just incredible, and I was like, I want to draw like that. But I was really looking at the hair and thinking like, how did he draw this? Because I don't think, could be very wrong, but I don't think he used whiteout. So how does he go about, you know, laying down the sketch so you keep all the stuff white for the hair? And I thought I'd try and have a go at it using, well, not using one of my own characters, like while coming up with a new random character that is going to be in the background somewhere in the comic book, you know, like work on the faces a little bit. This character came out pretty cool. The only thing that I'm not happy, well, I'm not going to say not happy about, but like he's looking pretty young here, but then when I started drawing the cloth for the worker uniform, whatever you call it, they wear the worn down cloths to keep themselves clean from all the dust and the dirt. It came out a little too big, so all of a sudden he jumped like to teenager. So yeah, something to think about. Proportions. Anyway, I'm rambling. I'm tired. It's Friday night. I guess I'm gonna watch that Avengers Infinity War trailer just a couple more times and hit the sack. Talk to you guys on day 33. See you tomorrow.